Hey guys, StarCraft here, and continuing on with the series of videos I've been doing, I'm going to now move on to the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe mini-series that led into it. I'm going to get into a little bit in the review, mostly because I did the audio ahead of time. Yeah, I'm kind of doing that a little weird, so I'm going to do the video first, and I'll do the audio first. But anyway, to get into a bit of detail about this, and again, I'll be repeating this later on, but I'm going to go a little bit further and thorough here. This mini was originally going to be by James Robinson and Philip Tan, but partway through, they had creative differences and Keith Giffen came on, and well, this thing ends up becoming a bit of a mess. But a mess that sets up other changes that eventually they start to move on with. But unfortunately, because of the case of you have one creator starting it off and then another one immediately after, right after, continuing on, but then meandering all over the place, it's not the greatest, but you'll see why as we get right in. So, let's start. Let's start with issue 1. And this is the first issue written by James Robinson with artwork by Philip Tan. And it's the traditional He-Man holding up the sword after he says his brought up hour of Grayskull. Yeah, no need to do the audio right here. It opens up with basically Adam dreaming about everything going on. He-Man going into battle with Skeletor. You have Tila and Man-at-Arms and everyone just fighting in. And then he wakes up not knowing what any of it is. Yeah, apparently he doesn't remember anything, and all this stuff seems like a far-off dream. As he's basically being like a lumberjack, cutting down woods as a familiar-looking bird flies around. Adam then all of a sudden hears his father, Randor, reason why I'm not getting in a moment, is saying he's hungry. He runs inside and, well, basically helps him eat. And Adam goes right back to chopping wood. As far as he thinks, he and his father have been woodsmen and always have been. Until, again, the Falcon shows up and he looks at it. It sits there on his hammer, on the axe, as he's talking with it. Then all of a sudden he gets another vision, but he takes it off as nothing as he heads back. But once he does, Beastman shows up and basically leads into a fight. He wants to kill Adam, just take him off the board and everything. And during the fight, Adam put up a good fight. It's a great action sequence. They continue to go at it, fighting it. Adam throws his axe, but misses. But then as he gets in close, he then takes out it and grabs a branch and stabs it into the back of the Beastman's back, knocking him out then with a blow. The end of the first issue ends with basically Beastman heading back there and to Skeletor and telling him what happened. And Skeletor says, "Send everyone. And tell everyone that he must be stopped, alive or dead, no matter what." And he basically orders, yes, everyone is to come after them. Okay? That's an interesting first issue. No idea what's going on, why everyone has amnesia. It's a nice starting off point. But there ended up becoming a conflict of interest between him, DC, and Mattel. And eventually, he left the book. And while he left some plots around, Keith Giffen would then come on in. Philip Tan would continue to be the artist, but by this point it seems were either his art style is usually a slow one, and due to the change of creative teams as well, it caused some delays to occur, so they had to get Howard Porter to help fill in. We then continue on with, after giving the orders, Beastman is asking Skeletor, "Let me be the one to take him down," but then Skeletor is basically telling him, I gave you a simple order to find my wretched nephew and kill him. Yeah, apparently, and he knows now about He-Man's double identity. Did he always know? From the origins of He-Man, it's still up in the air whether or not he knew, but by now, he knows. And for the rest of the series, everyone knows. Then, Skeletor basically leaves Beastman alone. And just to show how evil he is, a simple servant bumps into him, and Skeletor just goes, "The simplest task How is it I find myself surrounded by cretins incapable of performing even the simplest tasks? And what does he do? Turns the woman into stone. I mean, damn! That is cold. And He-Man continues on his journey. Oops, I forgot to mention that. That's the first issue. He's going off with the bird showing him the way. He named the bird Zor. Cute. That try and find something to help his father out. On the way, he meets a bunch of nomads who knock him out and take him before their leader. Once there, we find out that their leader is Trapjaw. Oh boy. And he has them all captured. Now, of course, he knows I'm going to be giving him the Skeletor. But then, at night, a mysterious woman comes in his aid. It's Teela. Yeah, a blonde Teela. Yeah, I don't know either why Teela was blonde and not the redhead. And throughout this whole mini, she's going to be blonde. Get used to it. It turns out that Adam is in for a fight to the death to be able to get out of here. And he doesn't want to kill, but he continues on fighting. And yeah, Trapjaw does not seem to, he's getting arrogant. He feels like this is nothing, you are nothing. Until then, Teela comes running in, and one of the creatures that the nomads were riding grabs Adam, and they get out of there. We then see Trapjaw talking to Skeletor, and he says, "Tell me again why you didn't just slit his throat." Yeah, Trapjaw, you done screwed up. And later on, he's basically explaining what he's doing. She explains, they talk to each other. And once Zor shows up, it ends with Teela pointing out, would you mind much if we started with the fact that that's not a bird? Oh? How does Teela know that, I wonder? Issue 3 then picks up right afterward, and Teela basically explains to Adam that the bird was a magical construct, and basically a construct of mystical origins no one knows anything about. One thing to point out about Teela and all this is that she's a bit of an ass. No kidding. The way Keith Giffen writes her, she is a complete and utter bitch. I'm talking like John Byrne era Lois Lane level bitch. Basically like, grow up, alright? Are you always this whiny? Oh Lord, get used to it, people. Anyway, we cut to Skeletor as he's talking to someone. Basically, Skeletor is and lamenting how he always thought the sword was the source of power, when in actuality it was from Castle Grayskull itself. Then we see the sorceress, a complete and utter mess. It's very disturbing seeing her like this, and she seems completely detached, like the lights are on and nobody's home. Gee, I wonder why that is. Meanwhile, on the boat that Teela and Adam commandeered, Teela is teaching him a bit more how to sword fight. Clearly again, Adam does not remember very well how to sword fight. Meanwhile, now the pirate captain that they are with, is informing them about certain sea creatures. They don't think much of it until one of them attacks them from underneath. And it's Merman, I think his name is. I'll put him in the description as I try to remember what his name is. But yeah, one of Skeletor's other minions, as he's coming in for the attack, basically sending forth his monsters on everyone and grabbing Teela. And although there's a funny point where she's dangling, and we just see a little exclamation point that just says, let's just call it language quite inappropriate for comic books, and let's go with that. Okay, that's funny. Anyway, the pirates and Adam are all fighting off the creature, trying to get him down. While Merman is continuing to fight him and deal with, and putting up a valiant fight, but showing that Adam is pretty tough still. Then Teela got her way down, and basically as the fight goes on, everything's on fire, and they are able to get out of there just in time before the Merman can bring everything down on a tidal wave down on them, sinking the ship. They think Adam and Teela are dead. We continue on as the two have gotten themselves onto a little makeshift boat, and by this point, Pop Man gets on the artwork instead of Philip Tan, and Pop Man will be pretty much the regular artist from here all the way throughout the series, some exceptions, and I love his art style. I don't know what it is about it, but he really draws strong men, strong women very well. It's just very good. I like it. But anyway, Adam and Teela make their way into shore, ready to use weapons and makeshift shields. But as soon as they get out there, they collapse. And as a small gas grenade knocks them all out. Even Adam saying, "We just got here." As we find out, it's a crew of people led by a man-at-arms who clearly does not remember anything that's going on. They basically arrive at this palace area. Not sure what it is, but we find out they are answering to Evil-Lyn. Not that bad of a design. I do love how Teela thinks she's a complete and utter loon. And again, everyone's getting a weird sense of deja vu. Adam even remembering her name is Evil-Lyn, even though he doesn't know how. And then basically we're having a man-at-arms beating on Adam at Evil-Lyn's orders. And because he obviously doesn't remember anything. Evil-Lyn then contacts Skeletor, making it clear that they do have him, and she will deal with him. And again, things are so interestingly going on. Back at Castle Grayskull, Skeletor is still wondering about why he's not able to get to the castle's secrets. Why is it? And then he started talking to a skull. Horde Prime Skull from the Hordak Origin issue. Although the words being talked to from it, we'll get to on who's saying it. It's not Horde Prime himself, but he's being taunted by the skull. He basically even says how a quick death is not enough. It would be most unsatisfaction. They want vengeance, and to do so would be, is why they keep on delaying it and wanting to stretch things out. They want him to suffer. And as for why Skeletor dare not leave, he fears because he has not unlocked the castle's secret, he might be unable to return should he leave. And basically, he's about ready to throw the skull away, as it just simply points out that the sorceress is formidable. Skeletor believing she is the key to the power. But the skull, and Horde Prime Skull says, is she? Is that what she would have you believe? There is no greater deception than willingly suffering for a cause that does not exist. Again, interesting. Man-at-Arms then feels just off as he goes to talk to Adam and Teela. And basically, at one point, she out of the blue asks him, "Are you my father?" To which even Adam's like, "I think he took that well." "Oh, father? Seriously? He just seemed to think so. I know I do." Again, and they're trying to remember everything as whatever's made them lose their memory is starting to fall apart. Then Evil-Lyn's out ready to deal with them, about ready to toss them into a cauldron of boiling water. And it's either that or they be shot with arrows. Either way, they're dead. And basically they're told they have to fight each other. So, they do. Yeah. And Teela's obviously basically having to make it look good. Until Zor comes in and knocks Adam right off into the fire. Yeah, it became fire. The boiling water became fire instead. Yeah. Adam is falling to his death. But then we come to the next issue then, as we find out the cauldron really isn't that bad. It is all an illusion, as Evil-Lyn pulls him back up. Basically pointing out that the blood feeds the cauldron. The more blood it's shed, the more substantial the cauldron's flames. But until that point, no blood had been shed at all. And basically, as the longer the fight goes, the hotter it will still get. Especially once the arrows start flying at them. And so they're basically told, fight to the death, or we'll keep spilling your blood until you boil. And yeah, they continue to fight each other. And then they both decide to fall down into the cauldron, but that because it's mostly an illusion, they just keep falling down and down and down. Evil-Lyn now panicking. And as they fall down, they realize they have to keep on going down, hoping to use it as a way out. Meanwhile, at Castle Grayskull, Evil-Lyn informs Skeletor about what happened, and it's through all of this talk that he realized, and that she points out a bird was also there. He realizes, of course, that bird is the Enchantress. As he goes to her and taunting and asking her, how did you know? And where are you? In my mind? How long have you been there? To which the sorceress finally speaks, saying, took you long enough. The best place was to hide in plain sight. And she hid in a pleasant memory. But then the sorceress, finally getting infuriated, stabs the sorceress, and killing her. Yes, the sorceress is dead. But Zor is still flying as they lead Adam and Teela down to this ancient doorway. But they're able to find her and open it just by Adam touching it. Once they go inside, the Sword of Power is there. In stone. Of course, it's in stone. Well, once they get in it, they are attacked by Cringer. Yeah, Cringer is a freaking huge tiger. I don't know if he's in Battle Cat form or not, but he is huge. This really shows the whole half tiger, half dragon. Yes, that is real. And they realize they have to go in there and get the sword. So they both try and get there. Teela gets knocked out and she curses again. Yeah, Teela has a bit of a mouth. Even Adam says, you kissed your father with that mouth? But then Man-at-Arms shows up. Ready to take him back to Evil-Lyn. Ready to take him back to Evil-Lyn until they see Cringer. And then they get some watching as he takes Teela away. But then He-Man makes his way to the sword, pulls it up right at the last second, and
by the power of Grayskull,
yes, been waiting a long time for that. Everyone starts to remember everything as all the memories come back. And King Randor is also back to full health as Skeletor finally calls out, come to me then and bring your fools with you. Last time I took your memories. This time I will take your lives. And we go into the final issue then, as Evil-Lyn is captured by He-Man and the others. And Skeletor is preparing for the final battle, while the Horde Prime Skull continues to taunt him, until finally he's had enough and throws the skull out of there. Beastman, and then as Skeletor revealed that the spell was in Adam. Once he remembered, everyone remembers, and they will all come, as he basically then tells them to get ready. Meanwhile, at a pub, while Cringer is outside eating, everyone is preparing, talking about what to plan. First, they think, how are we going to win? Last time this, such and such happened. And then, when asked, how do you know he's not going to put another whammy on you? Adam says, Orko's not here to betray us. Yeah, Keith Giffen never liked Orko. He's one of those guys, if he hates the character, he will do what he can to ruin the character. And, yeah, a lot of fans did not like this at all. But they completely don't even give him a second thought, as we have Adam and Teela continuing to talk. As Adam reveals to her, we're going to be leaving at the cover of darkness. And she gets a bit annoyed at this. Like, did you have to tell me? Couldn't you have slinked off on your own? Nope, I don't slink off. Then, turns out Evil-Lyn was not captured. She was just simply let to go back to give Skeletor the warning. And he is ready for just about anything. And it's during this that Skeletor starts to realize that the sorceress actually had her own deception among his. Made him see what he wanted to. And as Evil-Lyn is trying to explain it all, he basically steals her mouse away from her, sealing it up so she doesn't talk anymore. The battle then comes as everyone starts to come in for an attack, charging in, and as He-Man, Teela, and Battle Cat all fight alongside each other till they make their way in, and then Skeletor is prepared for a fight. Hit a sword against the Havoc staff, but then Skeletor reveals the beheaded and the cut off head of the sorceress. And basically tosses it aside as they two continue to fight. He-Man going for an actual hard blow. They are no longer just simply going to go in the usual fight. As Skeletor breaks the ground around them, leaving them just alone in the middle, continuing to fight. As Skeletor keeps on trying to figure out a way to have the power for himself. I should have killed you when I had the chance. To which Adam just continues on fighting, knocking the sword away, as he continues to say, the sword is the control, the funnel to which you channel the power, and as it always has been his. But then Adam gets up, pointing out that the mistake was Skeletor's ego drove him to believe that the sword channeled the power to Adam, when in actuality he is the host. The sword didn't and drew the power from him, for he doesn't just have the power; he is the power. As he decks Skeletor right across the jaw, smashing his jaw and knocking him off into the fires. And when Teela asks, "Is he dead?" Adam then says, "I'm going to say yes," but then whispers, "Liar." He is giving Skeletor this last bit of pity as he drops the Havoc staff down. It smashes and Skeletor is crawling towards Horde Prime's skull, where it also had landed. It continues to taunt him more and more, telling him that you brought it on yourself, continuing with your delusion. And then the issue in this miniseries ends as we reveal that who's been talking through Horde Prime's skull, telling him how everyone thought him the fool, as Orko, who's been manipulating as the mastermind behind Skeletor's attack, says that they will have and that he will make a move eventually. Yes, continuing to push the notion that Orko is a big bad, all because Keith Giffen didn't like him, and thus the miniseries ends with a TP continued leading into the ongoing, and I'll talk about more when I get into the video. So that was the He-Man the Master of the Universe miniseries, and if it sounded like I was fragmented or breezing through a lot of stuff, it's because this thing is so damn confusing. It's like they have all this stuff they just talk about and everything, and in the end, it really doesn't matter, because once they remember everything, it's like, boom, right off to the races that they zoom on by. It's, like I said, a complete mess. Who knows what would have happened if James Robinson had finished everything? I don't know. And Keith Giffen had his own plans, and this is before Rob David would take the reins fully. So, I'm not sure. Keith Giffen's known for flying off by the seat of his pants, and it kind of shows. It's just, it's just really, really not good. But once we start the ongoing, things are right on track. Everything starts getting fixed. But for this to start things off was, like I said, not that good. I'm just lucky it did the sales enough that they could do the ongoing. Or that ended up being a case of once James Robinson left and they realized they had to scramble, all Keith Giffen to do was just keep dancing and keep things going. But who knows? Pop Mando, great artist, continues on, like I said, throughout the series. We got some nice things going. Unfortunately, Orko being evil is one of those things. But yeah, like I said, this was a hot mess, but it's a necessary hot mess that leads into a brilliant series from here on out. So, see you all next time. Maybe I'll do a review. Maybe I'll do a rant. I don't know. And some of you guys, if you watch this, go find my thread where I'm trying to I'm talking about my Ethan Van Sciver work that actually sucks. And I want to hear some guesses from you people, because I really am going to do this eventually. So, take care. See you later.